Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Mogbe, right here in Lagos.
What a greetings to you wherever you are in the world watching us. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan.
Yes, it's a Tuesday, and of course, tonight we will be talking football, and more football. What happened at the weekend, and of course, things going down this week. And of course, we'll be giving you updates coming from the UEFA Champions League. And Galatasaray has actually, taken the first blood against Juventus. They won 5-2. And Victor Osimhen did not score, but he got 2 assists, a brace assist. How do you call it? Assist brace. Okay. He assisted 2 goals in that 5-2 victory over Juventus, who got a red card later on in the game. We'll be giving you updates from all other games that are currently going on in the UEFA Champions League. And of course, you get to hear it from us. In case you haven't heard it, the verdict for Nigeria and DR Congo, there is nothing yet from FIFA. FIFA is yet to make a decision. So many people are carrying a lot of stories out there that the decision has been made. No decision made yet on that one. So just keep your fingers crossed. Our FIFA Executive Council meeting was held today, right? So maybe during the week, you might just hear the news coming from that. But as a Tuesday night, there is still no verdict coming from that complaint made by the Nigeria Football Federation. Of course, good news for the Super Falcons of Nigeria. On Friday, we spent time analyzing the reasons why NFF needs to focus on the Super Falcons. They won the title 10 times, but then these guys sometimes don't have enough preparations going into games. So earlier today, we got the gist that they will be playing Cameroon over 2 legs, 28th and 3rd of March. So it simply means WAFU B4 Nation Tourney has been cancelled. Officially, it's been cancelled. So I'm sure Ghana saw the light, and that's why they went to UAE that's why they're going to UAE for the Pink Ladies Unity Cup. That's why they are playing that. But the Super Falcons will also be in active during this FIFA international window that's coming up on the 28th of this month. So Super Falcons were busy with Cameroon in Yaoundé. That's where they will be playing the Indomitable Lionesses. That's where they will be. That's build up to the WAFCON 2026 in Morocco. And of course, it's starting March 17th. Also on the program, the NWFL is back, is returning after almost 1 month break. Remember the last time they played the game was 21st of last month, and this is 17th, and on the 18th you have a lot of games, all the games, match day 8 going across the country. Of course, FC Robo ended that run, that unbeaten winning streak they had. Remo Stars ladies ended it for them. After that, we'll also be taking a look at the NPFL. And of course, the police games is getting our attention tonight, and that is where we will be starting from. It's day 2. Wrestling already concluded, medals rolling in, so you'll also be hearing updates coming from that in our Police Games 2026 edition. It's a Tuesday, and Kende Idris is right here in the studio. Kende, it's great to have you join me on the program tonight.
It's good to be here. Cecilia, it's good to also, have got Austin on the other side, and looking at first public police games. I think there is something about police and Nigerian sport. I think we must give them their flowers. They've really produced some, outstanding sportmen and women. I think Agawa and also, Chioma Ajunwa will readily, register in our minds. And that's why the entire country needs to pay attention to police game. I'm not saying you shouldn't pay attention to every other game, but with what police have done for us, thank you so much for that. And also, the NWFL excites me, is returning. Let the action get to continue. I love the way they handle it. The NPFL also, and then we're talking of the Champions League playoffs and every drama that has begun, with that. What's going to happen in Turin, we don't know. But Galatasaray have done themselves a world of good, with the way they won. So we'll watch on for the other games.
All right, we'll now be joined by the Public Relations Officer of the Nigerian Police, CSP Benjamin Udain, joining us from Abuja studios to tell us more about the police games. It's day 2. Good evening. It's great to have you join us on the show tonight. The ACP. I'm sorry about that. ACP.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for having me on the show tonight.
It's great to have you join us. All right, it's day 2, of course, of the Nigerian Police Games are taking place in Asaba, Delta State. And wrestling, obviously, I mean, the event has been concluded. Zone 9 overall winners with that impressive medal haul of 7 gold medals, 4 silver, and 1 bronze. Zone 5 obviously finished as second. How has it been for the force? I mean, this game has been competitive from the very first day it started.
Yes, thank you very much. It's been so exciting, and adding to that excitement is the fact that we're in Asaba, Delta State. As you would know, the game is rotational. It's every 2 years. The last time it was in Ibadan, Oyo State, and now we're in Asaba, Delta State. So it's been so exciting, and our officers, because everybody participating in these games, all athletes are police officers, 7 police officers. They are so excited to be the next world champion, to be discovered. They are so excited to be the next Choma Ajunwa and Samuel Peters and Sunday Bada, Okikelonwa Ajayi. You know, so it's been great, and we are happy that it's progressing well, and we look forward to producing another round of champions for Nigerians to be proud of.
Yeah, talking about producing other rounds of champions, one of the events that was introduced was arm wrestling. Arm wrestling introduced, but it's also being concluded. How did that actually go with a new sport actually, coming into the sport?
Well, it's laudable, and that's not the only new sport. We also have a new sport this year, and that's the mixed martial arts (MMA). It's just been introduced this year. And we are excited that we are introducing those sports because, like I said earlier, our intention is to keep fit, to encourage teamwork, team spirit, to also encourage community collaboration, and in addition to all of that, to also be world champions. So it's a good one, and as many new sports as we can, we would always introduce.
I know Austin has a lot of questions for the CSP. Austin.
Okay, SAP Benjamin, good to have you join us. You talked about some of the objectives that you guys hope to achieve with the games. Are we achieving those objectives already?
Oh, definitely, yes, we are. Fitness, yes, our people are so fit over there. Teamwork, team spirit, we are seeing that. And when I say teamwork, we have approximately 6,000 athletes over there. Athletes and coaches together, approximately 6,000. So they are working well together. And the other objective is community collaboration. Yes, the people of Asaba are so happy to come to Stephen Keshi Stadium to see us do our thing. And we're also so happy to live in Asaba for the duration of the game, eat their food, stay in their hotels. So the objectives are being achieved. And we hope, again, that's the paramount objective. Maybe not paramount, but it's also very important for us that at the end of this games, we will have another round of world champions.
Let's make it light. This is the Nigerian police we're talking about. If one of your athletes goes against the rule, will he be arrested right away?
We have officials coming to supervise what we do, and so it's standard. What we are doing is standard, and it will be very, very bad for police officers that should arrest people cheating to engage in cheating. But even at that, we have put mechanism in place to check that such does not happen. So yes, if anybody does that, the person will be disqualified, of course. If it's a case of drugs, the person will be prosecuted. It doesn't matter that the person is a police officer. Because at the end of the day, we do not want anybody to question the credibility of the champions we are positive we would produce for Nigeria.
Awesome. So this is the last one from me. And I like the fact that when we're reading out some of the names that the Nigerian police have given to Nigeria sports, I could see the pride on your face. You loved it. It's just Chioma Ajinwa, first individual Olympic gold medalist, Sunday Bada. Samuel Okon Peters is also a police officer. How committed, dedicated is the Nigerian police to sustain these legacies?
Oh, yes, we're very committed. We're very committed. The police games started in 1940, and it was a yearly event until 1986, Bauchi 86, when it became biennial. And we've been doing it ever since. So, and the current Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Adeolu-Egbetokun, is also very committed to it. He's a sports lover himself. He loves football a lot. So he's very committed to this. So I can assure you that the Nigeria Police Force as an agency is very committed to this. But we are known to always come tops when we do interagency games, and that's one of the things that spurs us on to continue to give the best we can. So we are positive that this is not stopping anytime soon. It's something we are proud of.
That it's going to be a continuous thing. But what I'm going to follow up on what Austin spoke about. He said so many new sports has been introduced. Is there actually a conveyor belt or something, or maybe like a kind of an institution or a program? Those athletes, who are really interested in sports, a pathway for them to maybe get into the main sport through the police force? Is there a pathway for that? Because I know during the time of Choma and Juwon, there was something like that. But do we still have something like that those athletes who've distinguished themselves, especially the young ones who can still go for the Olympics and compete in other international competition, is there a pathway for that?
Forget that we have a force sports directorate, a full directorate, headed by Commissioner of Police, CP Tony Emefiele, the first sports director. And currently, we are having 37 sporting events at the Games. And by extension, we have 37 sports associations that are duly registered, recognized by the appropriate regulatory agencies and federations. So it is well structured. And any police officer that is interested in any of these can just go register with any of these sports associations. When they want to go for training, we always give them leave. We support them a lot. If you walk into Police College Ikeja in Lagos, in fact, every day, especially on Saturdays, you will see police officers training for one event or the other. So there is enough room, and the structure is there for them to take advantage of, because we support sports in its entirety.
Yeah, interesting, because the reason I'm asking it, because since the times of Sunday Bada and the likes, we haven't really heard much, about having maybe an athlete from the police force, winning a medal for Nigeria. Finally, before we let you go, what are some of the new things? What's different from this year's event that you have not had previously, outside the new sports that were introduced to this year's event?
Well, basically, it's the new sports that were introduced, and the fact that it's getting expanded. Okay. Now we have 6,000 athletes. So it's a confirmation that more police officers are showing interest in sports, and more police officers are fit. It's a confirmation that we have more fit police officers, and they are interested in teamwork and community collaboration, like I said earlier. So basically, it's on a larger scale.
Okay.
And we have new sports. That's what it is. And it's an improvement on the previous one, on Ibadan 2024. And we do hope that the next one, we are yet to decide the city will be going next, but we do hope that the next one will also be an improvement on what we have this year.
Hopefully the next one could be in Lagos, right? ACP Benjamin Hundeyin, thank you so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thanks.
All right. The police game, 6,000 police officers actually competing. I love the numbers.
Yeah. I love it too. 37 sports.
Yeah.
And he said, in that same vein, 37 sporting associations on ground. See, this is massive.
There's a pathway already.
Yes, he said there is a structure. And I think that is where we suffer in our sports. What are the structures in place for it to move from this point to this point? Transition point is where everything gets, mobbled up. And I think, police games have gone through. Look at, since 1940, and then it was yearly for about 20-something years, and then from 1986, it became biennial, in every 2 years, and it still, lives on. And that's why those names are there and all of that. But you asked the question, you said, in recent time, after the Sunday Batters, the Choma, Jua, Peter, we've not had. Nigerian sports have also been going through a phase in recent time. Aside maybe Tobiloba Amuson, who has given us a lot of joy, then Blessing Okagbare in the last 20 years, I think we've gone through a phase where we are not at that level of competitiveness. And so maybe police, athletes are also going through this. And that's why we need to pay more attention. These are places where we need to channel energy. Yeah. I'm talking of the federations. I'm talking of the sports ministry. Now it's the sports commission, for you to go into games like this, see the young ones, and then help them through the transition phase from regular participants in games like this to becoming national beaters, continental beaters, and the world beaters. I love everything. MMA, I can remember the words of Israel Adesanya. Yeah. He said, this sport is built for Africans. This sport is built for my people in Nigeria. It's so physically, needing, and we've got abundance of it. Let us do more. And look at police games have jumped into this. Before you know it, another policeman is becoming champion at the octagon, and we'll love it. And then arm wrestling. I've always loved arm wrestling since I was young. I grew up with the military, and I know, they love to show, a lot of physical power, and arm wrestling is one of them. So I implore everybody out there, you need to follow and see the police games, and maybe you'll just be catching a glimpse of the next big star when it comes to Nigerian sports, because they've done that over the years. Over the years, yeah. Who knows what's going to happen next. Let's move quickly to the Super Falcons of Nigeria. Austin, I know you're smiling. I know Bimbo will be happy if he's watching the show, because on Friday we talked about what is going on. Why are we not having a program, a pathway for the Falcons as they prepare to defend their 10th title in Morocco? We're counting down to the days. It's a month now to the start of the tournament. But the good news is the Super Falcons will face Indomitable Lionesses in 2 games. So the first game is on the 28th of this month, and the second is on the 3rd of March. So the Nigeria Football Federation have decided to make use of the FIFA Women's International window. So, and that window is from 24th to February 7th, from 24th of February to 7th March. And that's when the WAFUB 4-nation tourney should have been played. But authoritatively, it's been cancelled. And so the Falcons have found themselves playing Cameroon over 2 legs, like what happened to the build-up to the last WAFCON they played in Morocco. That was just last year. We played Cameroon right here in Nigeria. But this time around, it's going to be in Yaoundé. That's the difference.
Yeah, I like it a lot. We have a job to do as media persons, act as watchdog to the society. And that's why when I get calls from public officials saying, Austin, you were so hard the way you went. No, do your job. First, they wasted that window, that first FIFA window. Yeah. They dare not waste the second one. And we have said it that the Super Falcons, they are the team to beat at the WAFCON. I mean, a team that has bossed the tournament over and over again, won it 10 times. Everybody wants to beat them, So you must get this sort of team ready. You must get them prepared, And I like the choice of Cameroon. Cecilia, let me say this. I knew that WAFUB tournament was not going to happen. It is what it is when you look at the way the setup is and everything. But now they have Cameroon to play. That's a formidable, opponent, and it will also be a good one for Cameroon playing Nigeria. The Super Falcons, they need to get into the right mindset for this WAFCON, and that's why I'm still pissed at the Confederation of African Football that till now they've not come out to properly say that Morocco will be hosting it, or if they're going to get on with their politics and will get to host it in South Africa. I know Kende wants to jump on this before we go on a quick break. Kende, sharing news for you.
Do you think we have time for Kende? We need to go on that break. When we come back, that's where Kende will answer that question. While we're on the break, inside the Niger Delta, we'll go on our DSTV platform. Inside the Niger Delta with Mamuda Akuga, we'll continue on our DSTV platform. And of course, all other platform Sport Tonight will continue. But that will be after this break. Welcome back. So, Austin throw a question to Kende Idris. Fire on.
Exactly. The Super Falcons, 10 times champion of the African continent, I liken it to Real Madrid being outstanding champion at the UEFA Champions League, 15 titles, nobody's coming close. But every day, Real Madrid wants to spend more money. Real Madrid wants to put in more to get the 16th, to get this. They keep, yes, because they know that the chasing pack are not resting. So you who is leading that pack shouldn't also rest, except if you've agreed that they should catch up with you. And the Super Falcons are that team that everybody's chasing. In fact, if South Africa wins a game against Nigeria today, you need to be in their country. Of
course.
It will be top news.
Yeah.
If Morocco does it, if Zambia does it, if Burkina Faso does it, that is the kind of brand that the Super Falcon is. But how are we helping the Super Falcons every day to be at the next phase so that the chasing pack does not, catch up? I still say it, that the gulf in the gulf in class between the Super Falcons and other team is the reason why we're still kind of winning. Maybe if we miss two tournaments in this period, we'll win the third one or we'll win the next one and all of that. The moment these teams who are chasing get super close, it becomes harder for the Super Falcons. We need to do more. I wonder how you let windows slip off. The Super Falcons, what more?
The window is gone already.
What more does the Super Falcons need to do for you to always have them at the back of your mind?
Win the World Cup, maybe.
Win the World Cup?
Yeah, maybe.
So what then are you telling the Super Eagles, who have three AFCON and they are the proudest of all teams?
We are trying to think of what else can they do.
That's what.
That's what you asked me. What else
so I
can
should
they
just stick
do?
it with the Super Falcons.
What else can they do?
Maybe they should win the male World Cup.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe that one they will end their respect. Because I feel they should be getting more. Individual players, the collective, and also the coaching. And see, sometimes we come here and talk about welfareism. I think we need to really step it up.
Yeah.
Coaches should have a proper contract. What is the contract of Justin Madugu? What are the payments? How long? What modalities and all of that? Where it faces what is in the terms of the contract and all of that. For the ladies, this is. And I think they will get to do more. For every time they play for the badge, they play for the nation. Hey, there will be times you also need to play for yourself. Yeah. Time is not a sportsman's friend.
It's not at all. The Super Falcons won a time title in Morocco last year, and of course that was in July. And this time around they are in a very relatively, would you say, maybe an easy group? Yeah, you can say that, because in that group you have Zambia is in the group. And of course they beat host Morocco in front of close to 64,000 or more than spectators at the stadium. Of course, most of them were Moroccans. The horn blaring and everything you can think of, but the girls showed character. And of course, they won 3-2 against the host nation. And so they're going for another one. I hope all the support they need, we can have that. The activation, those who want to put in money for the girls, this is the time to bring out that money, to bring out the support as they build up to the game. It's just 1 month to Morocco 2026. And hopefully, people will come to their aid this time and not after they've won. The 4 finalists in the tournament will be the ones to go to the World Cup, which is in Brazil in 2027. The same time, the Africa Cup of Nations will be taking place. CAF did that. All right, we're going to be talking about the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership Match Day 8. Our fixtures will start off with Group A games. Niger Rotters and Adamawa Queens, who lost in a very fantastic way to the Queens. Heartland Queens and Bayelsa Queens will also be in action. You have Ekiti Queens and Rivers Angels. Rivers Angels had a 5-0 victory going into after match day 7, and the league had to go on a break because so many players from a particular club that is still to be named, had most of the players at the under-20 level. Of course, the 4 Cornets were playing Senegal, preparing for that 3rd round of games. That's the reason it was halted for a while. Ibom Angels and Edo Queens will also be in action on match day 8 from Group A. Let's go to Group B fixtures. FC Robo Queens, after Remo Stars ended their unbeaten run, they will be hosting Osun Babes right here in Lagos. You have Awindiyami Queens and Confluence Queens will also be in action. Sunshine Queens will welcome Nasarawa Amazons, and Abia Angels will host Dana's ladies, and Remo Stars ladies are up against Delta Queens on match day 8 from the Nigerian Women's Football League Premiership. Austin, yes, I know the league is back, and we're happy that we're having it after a while, almost a month of no action of women's football, but now it is back.
Yeah, we like the fact that it is back. We love the women's, league, and it's beautiful whenever they come out there to play. We've seen beautiful goals. We've seen away wins. Group A doesn't really get me, excited with the fixtures, but Group B definitely is one that we can, look forward to, particularly that one that involves Delta Queens. I also want to see what push FC Robo Queens can give this next round. I also want to see what Remo Stars ladies can do. I'll take my eyes off Bayelsa Queens and Rivers Angels for a minute, Kehinde Idris, and then get to see if we'll see that competitive, push towards the Super Six.
It's as simple as that. I like, as much as I love the league, I want formidable representation at the end of the day, because everything we're playing now, there is a bigger picture. The CAF Women's Champions League. So whichever of these teams gets to win at the Super 6 level, because after this you go to the Super 6, must be formidable representation. Bayelsa United had already shown us the pathway.
Bayelsa Queens.
Bayelsa Queens, you need to be in the final, because Bayelsa were already at the semi-finals. They've been third in this competition. So if you have to better what they've done, you need to do that. So I have games that I'm looking forward to, having Bayelsa Queens involved, in there. You have also Ekiti Queens versus Rivers Angels. I think every time I want to say Rivers Angels, no disrespect to Ekiti Queens, they are one of those teams that could go on and represent us well. Then Ibom Angels versus Edo Queens. It's all about Edo Queens for me, no disrespect to Ibom. And then in Group B, you have Robo versus Oshun. The last time they were stopped, it was by a Southwestern team, which is Remo Stars. Now they are playing another. Sometimes your sisters can hurt you more than outsider can. Then you have Abia Angels versus Dana's ladies. Dana started well. After 2 games, Church Agbasa, everything has gone down the drain. Will they have a resurgence? Abia, another team who just stayed there lukewarm, but they could also hurt any team that looks away from them. Then Remo versus Delta Queens. I think that might be the game of this round. So these are games I'm looking forward to. Hopefully we continue to see good matches, get to the Super 6, and eventually get good representation on the continent.
One thing that's interesting is the fact that Bayelsa Queens, they haven't dropped a point nor lost a game, Austin, since the season started. So it's looking like these ladies just want to go on. They are defending champions for a reason.
Bayelsa Queens have said it that, look, I think the proximity to Rivers Angels can be the motivation that they are having, because that team, gracious goodness, and the way they play Cecilia. And while we talk about all of these things happening on the pitch, it's also a clear testament that it is what you sow, you reap. The state government, they've given that sort of attention that they should give to sports development. And look, they're reaping it, So Bayelsa Queens, I've said it, I'm taking my eyes off them. That Group A, I'm not really looking at it, because if you check it, see Bayelsa Queens at the top, still unbeaten. They have 18 points. Look at Rivers Angels following closely with 15 points. Look at Edo Queens. Cecilia, that's a fire group right there. Even Heartland Queens, the way they've played this season, they've been a bit impressive. But when you look at those 3 top teams that I've mentioned, you can tell that that's why they're struggling. But hey, can Bayelsa Queens, remember Cecilia, when Delta Queens also did the same thing. I don't know if they went the entire season unbeaten, but they really got us talking. But the next season, what happened?
I'm not sure if Bayelsa will suffer same fate. It's interesting that when you take a look at that Group A, how competitive it is. You go to Group B, Nasarawa Amazons also the only team that is yet to lose, but they've dropped points. I mean, in 3 games, they've had 3 draws, and that's the reason they're actually second on the log. FC Robo Queens still lead, but then after dropping that point, well, it's something to really look forward to. Remo Stars ladies also closely following by a third on the log. But you have the newcomers, Pessetas and the Indian Queens are the ones that are, at the bottom. But at least all of them have a point each. I mean, Pessetas just have 1 point from 7 games they played so far. So wherever you are in Nigeria, in your state, if you have a league you can support, just go to the stadium and support these girls. In Lagos here, you'll be having FC Robo Queens welcoming Oshun Babes right there at the stadium. I think that game is 1 p.m. Yes, it's 1 p.m. And, it's in Mobolaji Johnson Arena. That's their new home ground. That's where they've been playing since last season. So 1 p.m. you go there and just support these girls. Cheer them to victory. It's always interesting.
Why do they put their games?
The only functioning stadium in Lagos is that stadium, right? So you have other teams playing, so they need to schedule it in a way that doesn't interfere with other teams.
Men's game at 1 p.m.
Okay.
Why should it always be
because
the women's game?
The men's game started earlier. The timetable came out earlier before the women's team.
At the height of the
the sun, 1 p.m. sun. It's always and it's artificial turf. Yeah, that's how crazy it is, right?
It kills your boots, your ankle will suffer and all of that.
Yeah, it's what it is really, and we are supposed to be operating professional league. And that's why we talk about infrastructure. I know if Austin is going to start on that, we'll end the show. Infrastructure. We need to build stadium. What's wrong with Agege Stadium? What's going on at the National Stadium? What's going on at Teslim Balogun Stadium? Lagos has close to 7 stadiums across the city, and it's only one.
Cecilia, that's why when people talk to me, I've been having these conversations about Lagos, mega city.
It's not mega.
What? Show me where. Let me see what it is that they're doing. Like, I don't have to say you've been to Morocco. Our producer Irene has been to Morocco. I've been to Morocco. You can see the level of facilities, and it is turning into something. And let's even
Morocco is too far. Côte d'Ivoire, Cameroon. Why are you talking about Morocco? They've left us like.
Let's bring it back to Nigeria. We'll talk and leave Lagos. See Bayelsa State, for instance. You could tell that the small attention that they've given to infrastructure development gave birth to all of this praise and worship that we've been having about Bayelsa United, Bayelsa Queens, what they've done at the National Sports Festival, what they've done with wrestling. And now they are building a proper stadium again, So it is what it is. You reap what you sow. Let's still stay in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. We're counting down to the Prosperity Cup. I love that one so much because it has to do with grassroots football development. And one thing I've commended Bayelsa State with this Prosperity Cup, Kende Idris, is that they have sustained it, the consistency. Now they're taking it to the next level. 3 Barcelona officials will be coming over for an international scouting program. We're waiting for the main competition, but they've said no. Let us bring people from Europe who understand this thing. And Kende Idris, it doesn't get bigger than when you're talking about clubs in Europe. You mention top 7 clubs. It's out of respect. You must put in Barcelona. And that's what they're doing. According to the Director General, Ono Akpe, he said the scouting program is scheduled to run from February 22nd to 26th at the Samson Siasia Stadium in Yenagoa. Kende Idris, I don't know what we need to do, but this is the sort of programs we should be having nationwide for proper grassroots football development.
It's as simple as that. You said top 7. Barcelona, I think, should comfortably make top 5 in the world when it comes to top teams. And one of the things you can do for any sport franchise or any sporting nation is visibility. You let the entire world see what they are doing. And that's what Prosperity Cup have been pushing all this while. Let the world see what we are doing. So they started from Bayelsa. Bayelsans can see. After then, they went to the South-South. South-Southerners know what Prosperity Cup is about. Now they've conquered Nigeria. They've also gotten wards into Africa. Now they are looking to the world. The moment a sports franchise, a sports setup, a sporting nation has visibility, the sky is the beginning. It's not the limit. It's the starting point for your growth. And that's what, we just juxtapose that to what Bayelsa is doing with every sport that they are handling. And I think if you can't see Morocco, if you can't see Cameroon, if you can't see Côte d'Ivoire, to tap from. Then look inward. My father would say there is example close to you. You don't have to look far away. This is a very good example. Over the years, Cecilia, we've talked about this Prosperity Cup, and I remember when it was just for communities in Bayelsa. It was solely to get the communities to be a part of something. And now we're discussing it as being something that the world is being a part of. Visibility in sport, there is nothing that beats it. The moment you get that, your growth is just, non-stop. And congratulations to everybody who started it, the people who have gotten it to this point and want to see more. Hopefully, people will find a way to lend out words or, how do they call it, manual to every other state on how, you get your activities known, not just to the country, not just to the continent, but to the world.
And of course, do something about that. All right, let's take a look at the NPFL games that were played over the weekend. And of course, we'll have to do a review of that. But something coming from Remo Stars is the fact that the assistant coach, Suleiman Spolarin, says they are not going on relegation. They played 26 games this season, and they have 27 points. Okay, I'll run through all the results from match day 26. Academy Warriors and Plateau United. It was Academy Warriors winning at home by a lone goal. Katsina and Nasarawa, this game ended in favor of Katsina. You have Bayelsa United and Bender Insurance, this game ended goalless. Rangers and Wiki Tourist. After this game, Fidelis Lechuku, he's a proud man because he says they can win the title. They're second on the log, so he's got mouth. Eimba lost in Aba at home to Ikorodu City, who are currently topping the league table. You have Kwara United and Kanipila settling for a 1-1 draw. Kanipilas doing everything possible to avoid going on relegation. Shooting Stars beating Warrior Wolves. Now, this was the game of the weekend by 4-2. You have Bara FC played earlier on Saturday, and Kun Khalifa, this game ended in favor of Bara FC. They won by a lone goal. So Kun Khalifa still at the bottom of the table, and of course followed by Remo Stars, the champions. Let's take a look at the table quickly before the analysis will start from the guys in the studio. You start out with Ikorodu City. Of course, they are topping the table after 26 games. They've had 12 wins, 8 draws, and 6 losses, a goal difference of 10, and they are on 44 points. Rangers are closely followed by, now you see the reasons why Fidelis Lechuku is a proud man. 12 games they won so far this season, losing 7, but then after 26 games, goal difference, same goal difference. Of course, they are on 43 points. You have Rivers United. They've got games in hand. They'll start on Thursday playing all their standing matches. After 21 games, 11 wins, 8 draws, and 2 losses so far this season. Was the list of all the losses, and 7 goal difference, 41. Nasarawa followed that. They are also on 41, but Rivers is topping by virtue of goal difference because Rivers got 5 games in hand. Look at the bottom 4, as I mentioned earlier. Kano Pillars are doing everything possible to avoid going on relegation. 29 points after 26 matches. And how many games have they lost so far this season? They've lost 12. Kwara United followed that closely. They've lost 11 after 25 matches, winning just 7. And Remo Stars, after 26 matches, now you look at the numbers of wins so far this season, just 8 games, they've drawn 3, and they've lost 15. I mean, the highest numbers of losses so far in the league, and that's why they are where they are. But Coach Folarin says they are not going on relegation. Well, they have 27 points from 26 games, and Kun Khalifa wanted to pull out, but they came back after 25 matches. They are 25 points, and of course, see the numbers of losses, which is also huge. They've lost 12 games so far this season. Austin, Warrior Wolves, and Shooting Stars. That game was made for TV, and of course, it lived up to expectation.
Love it so much, Cecilia. Back in the day, that's a big fixture, and I'm glad that it lived up to the hype, that we gave it when we're making the match preview. Shooting Stars, they needed that win so bad, and I saw one of the goals that is scored. Beautiful, as you said, properly made for TV, and I think they needed that win so badly, and it did good to them. Rangers, you mentioned what Coach Chuku said, that win over Wiki Tourist was a good one, 2-0. But please, can we have a moment of silence for Eimba Football Club of Aba? I really don't understand Kende Idris, what's going on with that team. That's their 11th loss of the season. Teams now go to Aba and just win anyhow. What's going on?
I don't understand too. Enyimba was supposed to be the pride of the nation. We've seen how they handle their business, but I think in the last 3 years they've been on a downward spiral. But this year they really capitulated, and it's a worrying sign. It's a worrying sign. How many of our teams, let's even say in our belief, how many of our top teams are even looking like top teams, even in our local setup? Look at Kano Pillars. We're talking Remo, who won the league last season. Look at Enyimba. The only shining light is probably Rivers United, and you had a sprinkle of Rangers and maybe Nasarawa, United. If you take that, there is nobody. But Enyimba's story, like you said, I think a moment of silence. They need to go back and really look inwards. And yes, that Shooting Stars game, it worries me seeing that game, and I ask myself a simple question. Do you know how beautiful of a conversation this game would have garnered if it were to be on TV? If that game was on TV for the entire Africa to see, trust me, people will be talking about it 3-4 days after that match has been played. Beautiful goal, beautiful setup, the way the coaching, the tactics, the ideas by both coaches, fantastic. Shooting Stars were just, in a world of their own compared to Warri Wolves. And then, Rangers and everything they said. But El Kanemi versus Plateau United, I think I particularly had to pick this out because the Oracle, Benga Ogubote, has been fantastic since they took over at Plateau United. They look like they don't know how to lose up until they went to El Kanemi Warriors, and so sometimes you just get stopped. It's our league, and we know how it is when you go away. So competitiveness is everywhere, but we don't get to be able to talk about it because so many people do not follow it. For Remo Stars, I don't know what to say, but one thing I'll tell the coach is, this is what everybody says until it happens. You just must do something different for you to get a different result. If you continue doing what Rema has been doing, hey, we'll be here to talk about you being relegated. It's as simple as that.
Interesting. I mean, Austin, we were talking about this game earlier, Shooting Stars and Warri Wolves, some of the goals, made for TV. It was actually streamed, you can actually watch it on YouTube, and it's streamed online. And also, I think AfroSport has started showing the NPFL games. That's actually where you can watch it. But I know most people actually want it on the cable network, like, for instance, the DSTVs of this world, where everyone can actually see it. But then you look at this game, you understand that the NPFL is getting bigger and bigger. I love the fact that, all the goals, 6 goals, a thriller, and there was no fight, That's what we always want to talk about. We want to talk about the games, talk about what happened, and talk about how fantastic the players were without talking about the boardroom points and the administrations, and also talking about field. Fantastic field. But what we want more is for the fans, more fans to actually come to the stadium. Remember, they're not playing at home, right? Yeah. They had to leave Lekon Salami Stadium and come to Memphis Abiola to play because, imagine they had played this game at home.
At home, it would have been 7.
I mean, not just 7, the crowd. I mean, the fans. Exactly. Shooting Stars, the fans usually come they come out
they did a lot
to watch games.
To get their crowd, to get their fans back to the stadium before the season started. But they didn't work on the home. You're getting the fans, but the home where the fans will come and visit you.
You didn't do that. I know you can't talk about NPFL. I mean, I'm enjoying the goals. But then updates coming from the Champions League and also run through the 5th round of the FA Cup.
The second goal scored by Lucky Emmanuel, there's no way we shouldn't talk about it. That's the goal right there. The build-up, complete teamwork. The goal from Amos also, that volley. I think Shooting Stars, they were on fire and they were, unstoppable because Warri Wolves, they were also decent, but Shooting Stars say, hey, this is our game and we want to win it, and they went on to win it. What's going on in the UEFA Champions League? Cecilia, I just took my eyes off that game between AS Monaco and Paris Saint-Germain, and gracious goodness, it's 2-2 already as early as the first minute. Folarin Balogun gave AS Monaco the lead. 18th minute, they double it. Though in the 29th minute, pulled one back for Paris Saint-Germain, and then Hakimi has just leveled for PSG. So that means that one will definitely get us talking. Borussia Dortmund and Atalanta, that game is in the 31st minute and it's 1-0 to the host Borussia Dortmund. Atalanta, I said it, that they need to come out and apologize to Ademola Lookman, otherwise it will suffer for 100 years. Benfica and Real Madrid, that game approaching halftime, and it's still goalless. Yes, Atalanta. I said what I said. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakwa. And in everything you do, remember to keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Okay, Nejis. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's good to be here. I wonder how PSG is getting another French team after they played Brest last season in the playoffs. It ended 10-0 on aggregate. Now they are playing Monaco. Maybe Monaco will give them a better run for their money.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. All right, just a big shout out to our Nigeria's para-badminton sensation, Eniola Bolaji. She's now world #1 in her category in the women's SL3 category. Congratulations to her. We'll try and see if we can bring her on the show. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. Have a good night's rest.